All right, we are gonna get back to upholstery. I haven't been working on this for a while. Drum room has gotten completely destroyed as we are in the process of final assembly on the car, so there's stuff everywhere again. But first order of business, I want to get this frame off here, get this soaking in some evapor rust. So I'm going to take off the tracks off the bottom here, and then I guess the foam, we just peel it off and get this guy soaking. I'll show you what I got to deal with that in a minute here. All right, so that foam was only stuck down in a couple of places, so that came off pretty easily. I still think this foam is good enough. It's a little mangled, but you know, I sat in the seats. They were comfortable. They didn't give me any trouble, so I'm just gonna stick with these. I can always go back, change it later if I want. This is the plan. I bought one of these big totes from Ace Hardware. It's not quite big enough, but I was able to mash it down in there. I'm hoping I can at least get it partially submerged. I can flip it over and do the other side. So I have the big 5-gallon thing of evapor rust. Dump that in there and see how it goes. I don't know how many gallons this thing is. If it says 31 gallons, so should be down about, should be okay. We'll see. Unfortunately, some of this evaporated. I had this thing sitting outside in my shed. Didn't have the lid on tight, I guess. Not too much, but lost some. All right, let's see here. Yeah, that should be okay, I think. Rinse out that bucket now too, which will help. Oh, somebody can let me know if it's okay to dilute this stuff with water. That would help raise the level a little bit, but part of it's down in there. Not all of it, but maybe I can tilt it one way or another over the course of the next few days or something. Get it soaking. Anyway, we'll let that do its thing. All right, so next order of business is marking all of this stuff again so we can take it apart, make our patterns. This is very similar to the rear seats we did, except in a couple of major ways. One, this is using these plastic liners here instead of hog rings around this edge, so I've got to be a lot more careful with the dimension here to make sure this fits. I'm going to try to reuse this. It seems fine. Doesn't seem brittle or anything. And then the back here is a little different. It doesn't have that flap like the other one did. And then we have these long bindings sticking out here. I think we had basically the same thing on the rear panel. I just left this vinyl long here. So I'll probably just fold it over on itself or something right there to make an edge, make it a little rigid. Because I'm not putting piping on. So, anywho. So we'll mark everything here again. Left, right, left, right. This is the front, obviously. Back. That's all the pieces, I think. And then we just mark some alignment marks here. Same thing here. Put right through there. Mark where the seam is, where the stitch comes together. Right there. Something over here. Measure the center. Things are 10 inches on the back. Wider on the front. 10.5? Maybe it was 10.5. So 5.25. A little wider than 10.5, so stretch things a little bit. There. the center. Okay. Those marked. Mark an edge here. I'll mark where this seam is here at the back. Put an arrow on it. I forget my, it's been so long since I did this. I forget what marking system I used before, but I'll put arrows where the seams are. Mark the center on this guy. Yeah, that's 11 inches at the back, almost. That's quite a bit different on the back. That's weird. Okay, so we'll give that 5.5. That's bizarre, but whatever. Okay, is that good enough? I'll mark where that seam was, although I don't think I'm going to follow that exactly because this is not square. Mark where this lined up in the front. Line across here for the heck of it. Across here. I think that's it. That's all I need. The corners marked. Yep. Alright, so we'll get the seam ripper and tear all this apart now. Alright, that is going to do it for today. Short day, don't have a lot of time, but cut out the patterns here for the side pieces and the front piece, and this is sitting on 1/4 inch foam, and then underneath this we have the top pieces, and that is on 1/2 inch foam. And that's that. So we'll, these are glued down here. We'll let those sit. And then next time we can come in and sew this stuff together and see how it goes. Like I said, there's a few things in here I've never done before with the plastic strip that has to run along the side here and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. I gotta mark this one. This one here I marked where the seam is, where the plastic piece was sewn down, so I know where it was. I think it's pretty much lined up with this outside edge, but I'll do the same thing on this side here so that I know where to go. You can see these shapes are a little complicated. They're not all that straightforward. Anywho, pick it up next time. Alright, so that's been a little less than 24 hours. I can see all the rust is gone there. Just because of the shape of this thing, it's going to be really hard to get all the sides, so I might have to kind of put it in all sorts of different directions here, but that seems to be working pretty well. Forgot about this piece when I was cutting things out. This is the piece that goes along the back. So we're going to start with this. I am going to put the piping in here along the back just so that we have a good thing for the hog rings to bite into. And I may do that in some other places as well on those side panels, but not anything that you're going to be able to see. So I've got that guy marked out here. I just got this really long on this outside edge where the piping goes because I don't do a lot of piping, so I don't know how much material I need for that. But we'll figure it out, and we'll go from there. So we have some piping here. I forget what this is, 1/8, I think. All right, so I changed my mind and went through and cut that back at a 1/2 inch from the edge, so I could use the basting tape to hold the piping in place. That will work better than me trying to guess where the edge is. So, just going to cut the piping a little bit long. Kind of see where my edge is there. This doesn't have to be perfect here anyway. It's just something to hold it in place on the back, but it's good practice. Something like that. Okay. Let's see, I don't remember how I did this last time. I guess from the top. Sure. Why not? It's not advancing. That's not happening. Alright, let me ponder this for a minute. Alright, so I've just been doing the pleats here, seen that before, but we'll run through it one more time here. And I knew when I started I hadn't checked my bobbin. I was like, I should check my bobbin somewhere along the way. Sure enough, just ran out right at the end there. But that's okay. So we have one left to do here. So we've got a newly threaded bobbin. We're all set. So we'll bring you along for this one. All the other ones are the same thing. Okay, let's go. Stuck in here. I don't know why I'm binding up today, but I'm not in it, that's why. Okay, so as with all the other ones, I just leave all these things long and then I tie some knots on them to seal them up. Alright, just in case anyone is tuning in for the first time, this is basting tape here, which is just basically double-sided tape. So use that to stick your two surfaces together. So we have some marks here, I think. Yep. So I marked these two locations here, which are approximately correct. It seems I want it to stick out a little further in the front, though. Let me study the other seat real quick. That seems funny. Yeah, it's just off a little bit because the material stretched or shrank. That's okay. I'm just going to line up this front edge here. That's really what we want. And then when I do these, I find this works better if you try and flatten the material out on the where it's tufted. Otherwise, I end up with some weird little spots in there. So like that. And so this guy up to the 1/2 inch line here. Right there. This thing came from. The string coming back around. Alright, so we did that properly. Nice edge there. That looks good. And these things are nice and clean. Like I said, if you don't stick them down in there, they tend to fold over a little bit on themselves there. So that's that side. Let's do the other side. Alright, there we go. A little bit of a crease right here, but that'll come out when it's stretched, so that should be fine. So I think now I need to sew together the outside edge here. Maybe, actually no, I think that back panel needs to go on. I should have done that before I put the sides on, but let me do that next. So these side panels are a little bit long, so I think I mismeasured something somewhere along the way. Hopefully it'll be okay. Got to try to get this thing to lay roughly in the center. There's my center mark right there. Something like that. That's backwards. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, I'm going to trim these back because I don't believe they're supposed to be that long. Might regret that later. Alright, same dealio again. Some thread here. Inch mark. We'll see. Next. Alright, so I put this binding I don't know what this stuff is called, binding plastic stuff, whatever. Lined it up where I thought it should go, and I used the basting tape to lock it down. And now we're going to try and see if we can get this thing to do what we want here. It'll be a little bit tricky. It's big, long, and spindly, and I don't know how fun this is going to be, but we're going to find out, I guess. I'm going to plunge the needle into the middle here. Now I'm sewing through plastic now, which I've never done before. That's a first. And we're going to try and sew right on that line where it was before. Pedal here. Alright. Too fast. Slow down. I move the pedal around sometimes. It gets a little excited. hope at the end of this I sewed that to the right side of the material. I think I did. No guarantees. Just round it up in here. Don't know why that keeps getting hung up there. Oh, I think that's right. Hope so. Alright, so I think the idea is you put this on the outside, you roll it around the bottom like this, and then this inside edge is what locks it in. At least I hope so. Okay. I think we'll just leave it like that, and now let's sew the sides on, and then the bottom cushion's done. So I did a little something different on this one. I usually sew the whole thing end to end, but this one did not want to lay down into the right place. So I started on the far end here, in the middle of where the seam is there. I'm working my way around. You can see here these things don't want to line up, so I'm just kind of slowly inching my way around here. Once I get past this spot here, it'll be fine. Basting tape can take over from here. Did I just catch that? I think I did. Not even sure if this thing is supposed to be sewed onto the side. Let me check that. Is kind of sewed. It's got a little, kind of partial stitch there. So if I'm looking at it like this, yeah. That catches just about half of it there, so that's correct. This needle's thread is a mess under here. I don't know if this is because of the nylon thread or whatever, but it does some weird stuff. It like bunches up. I don't know. It's weird. Whatever. Should get me out of there. I'll show you what that thread looks like here in a second. Yeah, it bunches up strangely there. That's because it was running in circles, so something is twisting it and it's not letting it untwist. Weird. Whatever. Alright, so we made it around to this point right here, so then we'll pick up here and go the rest of the way. So I just didn't think I could get all the way around the whole thing in one go. Alright, well that's pretty difficult. I got it, and it's mostly okay, but there's a few little puckers here and there coming around these corners, so not ideal. There's a little piece of vinyl that I cut a little too close right there, so I can probably snip that out, but all in all it looks okay, I think. figure out how all these bolt holes and all this stuff works here. I don't know. I think maybe this folds under and back. I don't know. I gotta go. We put it on the car, or put it back on the seat frame. We'll figure it out, but I think we got it. I am not even going to bother attempting to try to do the red top stitch on here. I know I'll just completely botch that. So the rear cushions will have a top stitch, the front won't. Such is life. Anyway, that's that. So we just got to wait for the seat frame to get cleaned up, and then we'll see if we can put it on there and see how it works. Alright, so after a bunch of days in the evaporest and flipping and doing all that stuff because it wouldn't sit down in there, it came out real nice. Just this top edge is a little funky, and I think it's just from the adhesive and stuff on there. The evaporest couldn't get in there, but see, the rest of it looks fantastic. So we're just taking the wire wheel here, clean that up, and then this guy's done. Alright, so this guy's finally done. Everything all set here. Got it painted with some Rust-Oleum. So we're going to glue the cushion back on. So this is the only part right here that takes any glue. You can see around that outside edge there. Let's use the same stuff that I've been using to glue the upholstery foam and stuff. This, I don't think, doesn't need to be particularly strong because it's going to be held in place by the cover once it's done. So just shoot some of this, try and get it in the right place here. Like so. And same thing here. Like so. Let that tack up and stick it together. Alright, doesn't want to stick too well, but like I said, I don't think it'll matter once we get it in there. I think it'll just hold it in place so it doesn't go anywhere. So we'll get looking at getting the cover on there now. We've got to cut the holes out for these guys right here, but let's just see how it goes. Fun. Like I said, I never did one with this little plastic ring before, so but right now we're just trying to get a sense of where this is going to. I marked where the old hole was. If you can see that, bring that up a little bit. There, so that's where the old hole was. So now, how do I feel about that lining up? Yeah, it seems like that'll be a good spot. Go ahead and get those cut out. Side doesn't want to be as cooperative. Save that. It's going to stretch those things out too much, I think. Alright, so let's see if this thing's centered. It doesn't look like it is. Feels okay. Alright, so I don't know how this part goes. Start in the front and work to the sides, maybe? Stepping on something sticky here. Out of there. Let's try that. Still need to rotate this. It's not far enough over this way. Get it to move. That's better. These are about centered now, so that's good. It's pretty sloppy around that corner, but see that there. If that will clean up pulling this part. That will help. This side to line up. That's not so happy. All right. Okay. That's pretty good. And then that just leaves pulling this part around, which is way too short. I'm gonna have to fight with this one to get a hog ring on here and see how far away from that edge we are there. So that's gonna be a challenge. Let me yank and pull and stretch on this for a bit and see what we can do with it. Okay, I got one in. If I can repeat that success. I did it by pressing down from the top. It's kind of pressing it here, like so. Oh. I gotta get some better hog ring pliers one of these days. They suck. This is kind of puffing up right there, but I think it'll be all right. The old seats, if you remember, this was all glued down here. I may come back and do that someday of popping this off and gluing this stuff down. We'll see how they look when it's in the car. But now, let's get this going. So over here looks like it's going to fight me a little bit. Put this on the floor and pull up on it a bit, see if I can get it to stretch. Yeah, that one's going to be fun. I might have to do the back here first. Pull this around the back. Here. Might have to do this first. I've got to get the trim piece that goes on the back here and figure out how much of this I can have exposed here. What I'm doing. Yeah, let me do that. Yeah, this would have definitely been better if I made this longer. I followed the size on the other seat, but with the extra foam and stuff, I think it's not pulling as far back as it needs to. Especially right here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to scoot that back. That's where that thing ends up, right there. I think this side will be okay, but not so sure about this side. So may have some work to do there. I'll give it a try. But this covers up all the way around the bottom here. Way under there. So basically none of this stuff is going to be visible here. Alright, there she goes. It's definitely not perfect. I'm not sure how much of that is visible when you've got the seat back on there. Probably a lot. We'll see how it goes. I still have to paint the back of this. That's not done, but all in all, it fits pretty well. Can't say that I'm disappointed with anything there. And the only thing I might want to do, like I said, is glue this down. And I think I can do that by just popping the plastic loose here, spraying that down and squishing that down. I might do that right now. Let me see if I can do that. No, that's not possible. Since it's tied down in the back, I can't lift it up over the front here anymore. So if I want to come back and do that later, I've got to redo that. We'll see how much that bothers me. Like I said, once it's in the car, I'll take a look at it. It's not entirely symmetrical. You see, this one's got a nice edge. This one's kind of a little high riding up there. That didn't work out exactly right, but I think it's okay. I don't think anyone will notice that. Okay, that's it. So next time we will pick up the seat back, which is sitting up there, ready to go. And I'll get going on that one.